distinctive mark of modern warfare is the quantity of materiel required. Less than 3 ship tons of initial supplies per man were needed in World War I, while today 9 ship tons per man are required. The Services of Supply supervises production and procurement, except for certain Air Forces materiel. It operates the distribution of supplies, classifies recruits, and trains SOS units. Under its jurisdiction are also the administrative services required throughout the War Department. The supply services actually perform the procurement functions as planned by staff divisions. Procurement and operations, key SOS functions. Operations translate strategy into terms of equipment and supplies. Procurement determines materiel requirements, checks available resources, considers international commitments to our allies as well as their resources, purchases goods, and finally ensures their production. As already indicated, each of the 7 supply services procures its own materiel: ordnance, chemical warfare, quartermaster, engineer, signal, medical, and transportation corps. For example, this is how ordnance would direct the procurement of a new medium tank, such as the M4. First, ideas are pooled by the Army Ground Forces, military intelligence, and civilian inventors. A development project is then set up, and blueprints are prepared, translating the ideas into working patterns. To check dimensional characteristics, a wooden model is constructed. Specifications are drawn up, and a manufacturer is instructed to make a pilot model. After exhaustive tests and perhaps redesigning, ordnance recommends standardization. The number of tanks to be produced is based upon plans developed by operations in consultation with the General Staff. The necessary materials, raw, semi-finished, and finished, are listed by requirements. Then Resources investigates where and how soon materials can be secured in cooperation with WPB and the Army-Navy Munitions Board. Meanwhile, the International Division has inquired of our allies for any materials which might be lacking and has checked on the number of tanks they are to receive. Finally, Ordnance places contracts with manufacturers. Tanks are built in former locomotive, automobile, and tractor plants. Into these huge factories go production men from Ordnance, checking processes, materials, tolerances, suggesting shortcuts. Part by part, the machines are assembled, and finally, as the completed tanks roll off the line, Ordnance experts give them a last inspection. The tanks are ready for delivery. Responsibility for their delivery rests on the 7th Supply Service, the newly formed Transportation Corps. Storage and distribution are the jobs of operations, whose plans division is the main SOS liaison with the General Staff on these matters. The distribution division regulates the flow of materiel from production lines until actual delivery for use. Also under SOS jurisdiction are the administrative services required by the Army as a whole. Office of the Provost Marshal, which is a self-contained police force, the Office of the Chief of Chaplains, the Army Exchange Service, serving our troops all over the world with retail sales of $30 million each month, and the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps, which graduated its first officer contingent in August 1942.